Okay guys, welcome to the stream. We're going to go over all the information with regards to War of Champions. I'm going to be switching between different posts because there's been multiple posts about this. My game sound is kind of messing up right now. Hopefully it fixes itself. But we're going to be going over all the information with regards to stuff that's going on that's kind of gone wrong with the keys and the transfers, but that should be getting sorted soon. But we're just going to go over all info. So I'm just going to do it, and we'll go over the actual rewards info of War of Champions itself as well. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, I would appreciate it. Let's get into the info. Here we go. Hello survivors, and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video. And in this video we're going to be going over the War of Champions Season 6 information. There's quite a lot of information to go over. We'll try and get through it as quickly as possible with regards to transferring, with regards to who's qualifying, and with regards to actual rewards at War of Champions itself. There has been some hiccups, which I'll refer to some posts on the Discord for the information. Let's get into the info here. This little piece of news was put out a couple of days ago, and basically it was going over region transfers where the top 100 scoring factions would be able to transfer, and you'll be able to get your key by a certain date, and then obviously be able to transfer on certain windows. Now they did run into issues on these windows, but this has since been fixed. I'll just show the information on the screen. And there's this information here. It says, hey survivors, there is an issue which is preventing players from transferring to the WOC region. We are working on a fix to resolve this as soon as possible. Thank you for your patience and understanding. And that was this morning. And then obviously, what is this? Nearly 10 hours later, it says, survivors, the issue which was preventing players from transferring to WOC region has been resolved. And I'm guessing this is just coinciding with Ayugo waking up, because they kind of start working around 4 p.m. my time. So they probably had to wait until Ayugo was around to be able to actually get this done. Pretty much as simple as that. But yeah, thumbs up. This situation should be fixed. You should be able to start transferring. Whether they're going to change the windows again to different hours that people can transfer is anyone's guess. You might be able to transfer right now, but do be aware, if you transfer right now, you won't be able to craft when you're in the War of Champions region, because the War of Champions region, it's impossible to get both crafting territories. Even if you're the top faction, it's really difficult to do because everyone's hitting you, and you're either going to have to constantly, you know what it's like with those crazy territories when they're around, the 6-star territories. But yeah, it's not going to be the case this time around. If we look back into the info on the post though, you can see that faction events will continue to be on hold for the week after War of Champions. Oh no, actually, we don't need to look at that. What do we need to look at? I think we'll just go straight to collusion. There's some information on collusion as well, obviously, at War of Champions. I'd be very careful with doing any sort of collusion, where it be repairing for other factions, even if they're in your same region or anything like this. You could potentially have temporary bans on War of Champions weekends, so you would obviously lose out on being able to get rewards, or your faction could be disqualified from War of Champions altogether. So just play War as it should be played. Pretty much as simple as that. Then we've got the exclusive fighter. We have had information on this already, and it is going to be the Shiva the Destroyer. We will look into how to actually acquire this character, and I will say it is a little harder to get her this time around than it has been in previous War of Champions to get the previous characters, just to be aware. If we scroll down, you can see the weapon of the character, the avatars, which is going to be nice. Participation avatars on the far left, then third place, then second place, then first place. Kind of standard stuff. Again, we'll find out the details on when these are going to be rewarded. And then there's the Paragon mod rewards, and this is just going to start. Generally, these missions start almost the second it happens. You can choose the set, but it's going to be completely random. The downside of this is, of course, you choose the set first, and then you get the random mod. So it still is pretty random. Like, you choose all 5 attack, they could all be defensive. It isn't a great system. If you could choose the set afterwards, that would definitely be better, but that is the way it is. Then there's collectible coins for the top 3, and they'll be sent those. And then the war banner will obviously change based on the winner of World Champions. Kind of what we've seen previously, where the current top faction is the faction that was first on the leaderboard for qualification. And here is... Wait, let me scroll down a bit. I'm going to edit this afterwards, guys, so don't you worry. And here is that War Season 6 final leaderboard. You can see Eternal Origins did qualify in first place, and they were the winner of the last World Champions. It was pretty close, considering this is 5 qualifiers. We're looking at a couple of 100k per qualifier. Nothing to really be sniffed at. Very close between the top 2. So theoretically, going into the weekend, you'd assume potentially it's anyone's game. It could be based on matchups between the 2 factions. It could be based on who obviously overkills the most mercs. We'll talk about that maybe after World Champions, but it is the way it is. There's also close between 3rd and 4th. Again, potentially a pretty big battle there. And then there's a lot of factions. If you see your faction name in here, please let me know in the comments. If you're qualified, let me know. My faction, I believe, was in 69th place. I want to say 69th place. And we did qualify pretty okay. The last qualifier, we took it a little bit easy. We didn't go too crazy. Okay, it's not 69th place. We're in 65th place. Order 66, and we're like 3 million, I think, ahead. It's a shame that the top 110 weren't showed, just because maybe it's been changed. It has not been changed. So that's the top 100. I believe 101st place was like 20,000 points, or really close to qualifying. And I've been there. I've been at 101st or 102nd place. It is not great. So that's the top 100. These are all the factions who are qualifying for World Champions. Like I said, if your faction is one of these factions, let me know who they are in the comments down below. Now let's get into the actual World Champions rewards and how they've kind of set things up there. Oh, just one last thing. In game, you should have your key. If you claim these other rewards, which I have not yet claimed, you should have your key in your inbox right now. And if you're really lucky, you'll also have this trainer that is completely useless. No, but there's obviously this transfer key is sent to you to be able to transfer to Warrior Champions. So you simply just claim the Warrior Champions key, and you'll be able to transfer to Warrior Champions region once it unlocks for you. Pretty much as simple as that. Okay. Now we have the full Season 6 World Champions information, and also the AOW information for people who aren't going to World Champions, and CLW information that people aren't going to World Champions. You can see that maps are as follows. First repair 50 coins, then 100 coins, then 150 coins, then like 2 billion coins. This 2 billion coins timer is, I think, in place because they don't have any way of making it so you can't repair. And would we want them to devote some development time to making it so you can't repair, or just making it 2 billion coins so you actually just can't repair? I think we both know the answer. Then we have the mercenaries, which looks actually absolutely fine. I didn't see towers. They're going to list towers just now. Surviving defense teams only give solo points, which is obviously important. The faction points are not going to be as effective, which is what was a problem once upon a time. So everything looks fine there. Then we look at the strongholds. All alert and tough teammates get 25% attack when attacking enemies and strongholds. All fast and strong teammates get 25% attack when attacking enemies and strongholds. All teammates get a huge bonus to AP when attacking enemies and strongholds. Again, like I say, pretty decent towers, very attack-based, a bit more fun. Obviously, the defense meta has been in place for well over a year now. Well over a year, where it's just constantly smashing your head against defense, which is not fun. So that's going to help quite a bit. Then I think this is the AOW actual World Champions rewards, and this is where it gets a little bit different. I'm going to try and explain it to you. You get some tokens for first place, also the first place avatar with a gold crate, but you also get the first place weapon. So if you come first place, you will get the weapon. Then second place gets the second place avatar, which is the silver crate. And then third place gets the third place avatar, which is the bronze crate. Then we get ultra tokens periodically just decreasing as it goes down. You get gear medals and gear medal choice boxes on the right hand side. The lowest reward is 3,000 Ultra Mythic tokens, which I think is going to be the top reward for the CRW rank rewards. As you can see, CRW rank rewards is people who are not going to World Champions are going to get the worst reward at World Champions. So it's definitely worth going to World Champions, because I know there's always people say, should I bother? You're going to be able to potentially get Shiva, and you're going to be able to get Paragon mods just from the missions. And there's extra Paragon mods available if you want to go really crazy in actual World Champions itself. I will scroll through this again. Scaling, Ultra tokens, gear choice crates, and gear medals on the right hand side. Then we have the World Champions actual missions, and this is, like I say, where it gets a little bit strange. The participation avatar is only 5k. I think that's pretty much where it's been every time. But then the change is going to be this new banner system where we get... Oh, I think they changed it. Originally, it was 500 for each of the 100k, 200k, 300k. So someone has said something and they have changed it, because if it was 500 for 100k, 200k, 300k, you would have to get 200k points in World Champions to get Shiva, because she costs 200 each copy. But they've changed it, so now you only have to get 100k, which is actually easier, I think, to get than previous World Champions. So now she's actually easier to get, not harder to get. So a big thumbs up for me. That was definitely a fumble otherwise, but they have changed it, so no problems there. As you can see, 100k we get 1,000 Shiva banners, 200k we get 250, 300k we get 250, then 500k 500, a million 500. These are going to be able to be put into a grey market to get rewards back, including Shiva. So she is optional, but I definitely would take her because it's a one-off, and if you want to get her again, you have to pay. So definitely get that character if you have the banners. Then we have the non-World Champions milestones. I'll just scroll through this if you want to pause and check those out. It's just the kind of standards. And then we have World Champions faction missions. This is just the same as always. I didn't see anything too crazy or different in here. Trainers, Lilith Maddox, all that good stuff. The different tiers, mythic gears. So it's just going to be extra bits and pieces, which is nice. And then World Champions. I guess it's World Champions CRW, non-World Champions CRW, but yeah, whatever. Same sort of deal. I think it's probably a little worse. It looks like gold mythic tokens instead of mythic gear choice boxes. Yeah, it looks like gold mythic tokens instead of mythic gear choice boxes. So it is definitely better in World Champions. And then we had the grey market. This is where there was questions from myself, because originally you would have had to get 200k to get the 5 copies of Shiva the Destroyer. Now it's only going to be 100k. Get all 5 copies. Done and dusted. I believe this starts after World Champions though. Let me just check. It starts on the 8th of the 10th. I want to say that's after World Champions. Does anyone... Let me just double check. Yeah, so this starts after World Champions ends. So you're not going to be able to get Shiva during World Champions and use her during World Champions. This was done, I think, out of a request about, from large parts of the community, just based on the fact that the character can affect the meta of World Champions too much to have a new character just implemented halfway through, which, I agree is pretty rough. But it's nice to get the character to use afterwards. Then this is the optional stuff you can get afterwards. So if you go above and beyond 100k, you have to get to 300k to get Shiva specific Paragon mod choice box. This is kind of weird. Shiva specific? Is this new? Is this specific to Shiva as in it's good for her because of her kit? Or is this like a new mod type? I don't think it is. I think they've just said it's going to be good for her. But it says Shiva specific, like it's a mod that's specific to Shiva and only Shiva can use it. And then maybe it's an improved version and this could be brand new mod types. We'll have to see. I don't think it is because they make a bigger deal of it, I assume. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be the case. Attack set Paragon mod is going to be a bit RNG. Defense set Paragon mod is going to be a bit RNG. And then Ultra Chance bags, again, just going to be RNG on Ultra Chance bags. But if you hit like 1 million, you're going to get loads of those Shiva banners back. And you can use them as you wish. Get extra mods. Get extra chance bags. Pretty decent. Then we have the World Champions exclusive weapon. And this is always exciting because it is available to the people who win. But you can also pick it up even if you don't win Warrior Champions and you attend, but you can also pick it up even if you don't attend Warrior Champions. So this is actually quite nice for a lot of people in the game. It has previously cost $15, I believe, so it's never had a crazy high price point. And as expected, it is going to be a fast weapon. We've had one of every trait now. Your guess is as good as mine of what the next one's going to be. But it has got 45% HP, 40% defense, improved absolute defense and slow. So when being attacked, a 60% chance to reduce the damage to 0 and apply a 20% slow to the attacker for their next turn. But it also has group halo, which is honestly really crazy to have on a weapon that's loose. You know, having this on a weapon that's attached to someone, but having this loose, and then obviously potentially people who win Warrior Champions can get this for free and then buy a second one. And then there are other characters in the game that have halo on their weapon. For instance, Clementine has it on her kit, Circuit has it on her weapon, and Davey has it on his weapon. So there's gonna be full halo first turn teams on like these sort of teams now. Very, very powerful. It is only for one turn. 25% isn't crazy for halo, but you know, the halo comes in first, then the heal's coming afterwards. It goes through the info. It'll be named after the Warrior Champions winner. Has to just obviously align with the name structure. Like, they can't have a crazy name. But from the top 4 factions that I saw in the leaderboard, they should all be fine. And they get a free copy of the weapon if they come first place. There is not any information of what is in those avatar crates, but I assume it's just the avatar, maybe some extra little bits and pieces of rewards. But initially I was going to go off a little bit on the extra requirement for Shiva to get Shiva the Destroyer 5 copies. But as they've changed it to only needing to get 100k now, if we go back up, to get the 1,000 tokens, this is obviously, or 1,000 banners should I say, this is obviously a big thumbs up. Initially it was 500 for every single Shiva banner reward that you see here, and that's when it was messed up, because then you'd have to hit 200k, much harder to do. Some factions obviously have 20 of their members that don't hit that much, because they want their top 10 people to generally rotate and get as much points as possible, and they want to be able to get Shiva still. So I'm guessing there was some messages from those factions, which are generally the top factions, honestly, so they're going to be paid attention to, I'm sure. But that's it for all of Warrior Champions information, guys. The weapon, the character, how the schedule is going to be for the weekend. Do have some fun. I'm obviously going to be doing some content over the course of the weekend. I'm going to be trying to work in unison with the other content creators to make sure we're all streaming at different times, and I'm hosting them and they're hopefully hosting me a little bit. And maybe some giveaways. I still need to talk to Scopely about potential giveaways. We'll see what happens there. I think they've got a meeting tomorrow to confirm that, so we'll see. But yeah, that's it for the information on Warrior Champions, guys. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much for tuning in. Keep on surviving. Keep on surviving.